Hello everyone, for today's video we are going to take a look at Ivan Demidov. So if you follow Prospect in the slightest, chances are you were exciting for this video. In terms of raw talents, Demidov is probably one of the most exciting prospects that we have seen in the past few years. So he supplanted Matvey Michkov for a spot with the St. Petersburg SKA at the start of the season, and he is currently producing at an historic rate in the MHL. So unless you were living under a rock this whole time, you probably know that what draws attention to him from the outset is his fantastic puck handling. It's almost as if he has the puck in a string, and what impressed me the most with him is that he's able to maintain dexterity and a fine control of the puck even when he has to move it in a slightly more precarious place. He's able to adapt quickly if access is close to him because his ease with the puck on his stick is simply unmatched. He can create scoring opportunities basically out of nothing, and that also benefits his teammate. As far as playmaking goes, I would say it was a bit hard to pinpoint what exactly were the underlying theme within it, but overall I would say that he has a pretty good vision and that he's able to see some hard passing lanes. He'll always remain unpredictable for the opposing defenseman due to the quality of his puck handling, but to add to this, Demidov began to increasingly incorporate shooting threat to draw attention upon him before making a pass. However, I would say that the most prevalent aspect in Demidov's playmaking is that he uses a lot of pass against the grain. Whenever he cuts into the center ice on his forehand, he will make passes towards where he is coming from.
Demidova. Ну вот здесь Иван. Хорошая передача.
Once again, the dexterity of his hands is on point as he managed to reach his target as he passes while bringing his arms towards the inside of his body rather than passing by moving his hands away from the body. So just look at the last sequence one more time and pay a close attention to his arm position.
Как раз попытка его была вывести на бросок. Нет, здесь шайба дошла дальше. И,
When it comes to his finishing skills, Demidov is not the most proficient goal scorer. We will have the opportunity to talk about it a little bit later, but in terms of qualities that he brings to this facet, I really like his puck placement on his shot. So he always aim like low glove side, so just in between the glove and the pad. So this is hard save to make for a goaltender.
У армейцев сейчас Иван Демидов. В зоне соперника бросок сходу и армейцы забросили.
I also like that he can take one-timer even if the pass seems a little bit too far in front of him. It is especially when he has enough space in front of a goaltender one-on-one that he is able to put the puck in the back of the net the most. I won't dwell too long on the dangles that he can pull off because his hands have already been mentioned a few times already. However, he advocates for a fairly unique play in front of goaltenders where, by attacking the net from the left side, he managed to considerably widen his skating base at the very last moments. His range with the puck increased drastically in the blink of an eye, and goaltender simply doesn't have an answer for that. I mean, just watch how far apart both of his feet are. This leads me to talk about his skating. On a technical level, it is, like the rest of his game, very spectacular. Demidov tackles the famous 10-2 with abundance. He uses it at a frequency that I have never seen amongst other players. Although elegant, this technique is rarely used wisely. I have seen time and time again prospects use that maneuver without any real purpose behind it. This is where Demidov stands out from the crowd. He brings a considerable amount of substance to this technique while, rather than using it with his back on the board, Demidov used this style to gain the center of the offensive zone. In addition, this helps him to keep the puck further out of the reach from his opponents and he also managed to push their sticks away with his front leg. Demidov also demonstrates fantastic agility. He can use tight turn at a very high level, and what is the most fascinating thing about him is that he can execute such pivot just as skillfully with his outside edge as he does with his inside edge. So such pivot with the inside of the blade are very rare, and they also give you the opportunity to work on your forehand rather than to be forced to go on your backhand.
Коромыслов, Демидов развернулся. Дальше Клюшка, как Наумов шайбу выбил.
Так что знакомиться с ними не понадобилось. Сразу же
Демидов здорово ушел от соперника, и дальше передача на...
Since that we're talking about things that are substantial, Demidov's board play offers quite a few interesting qualities. His puck control coupled with his skating agility in tight space makes him a difficult player for his opponent to contain.
Динамовцы пытаются начать атаку, а в результате Демидов хорошо разворачивается. Ну, это его такой, знаете, фирменный прием. И в одиночку находил.
However, what I appreciate most of him in this facet is his willingness to engage and to arrive first on top.
Лайпциг еще и удален. Ну, такая несколько нестандартная ситуация.
Although it may seem trivial, Demidov often does this play where he will duck down under his opponents to avoid a hit. What I like is the determination that emerges from this type of sequence where the desire to make a difference offensively outweighs the fear of getting hit. Growing up, Yevgeny Malkin was one of my favorite players, and this was a play that he used to do on a regular basis. Something I liked about Demidov's play this season is that following his demotion to a lower league in the MHL, his level of involvement on the ice remained the same. He showed a good attitude, and although not the most impactful, Demidov finishes a good number of his check.
Он тут уже лихим буллитом прославился. Силовой прием чист.
Ну, естественно, довольно спокойно контролирует уже СКА происходящее.
Without the puck, there is no reluctance on Demidov's end to backcheck defensively. He also works hard to steal the disc from his opponent, which he managed to do with some successful stick lift.
начало, быстрый хоккей, без проката.
Ну и последние минуты уже объявил Ник.
Дальше Шиндяев. Шиндяева прессингует Демидов.
Нижний угол, партнеры пытаются помочь ему, но необходимо вновь катить назад. Великов вроде бы был ближе к шайбе, вернее даже к зоне атаки.
Да, вот это как раз щека был с шайбой. Так, вот Романов и Демидов. Здорово у них получается, Демидов!
Ну и дальше шайбик Савко приходит, догоняет его Демидов. Здесь такая... Однажды забил Ермаков, однажды Гринь, а у армейцев Дубнов на пятачке борется. Егоров.
Вот так, к сожалению, да. Меня уже...
Приятный поворот, еще один, который уже в этом матче для команды из Хабаровска.
Now, as for the weaknesses in Demidov's game, at the top of the list there is an excess of fantasy in his play with the puck. He too often goes for the highlight reel plays, even if it means having the puck taken away from him. With players like this, you must always know how to correctly weight the rate of puck losses with the rate of successful plays. In Demidov's case, even though there are a good number of failures in his attempt to make highlight plays, I believe that the scoring chance that he is able to create out of nothing compensate enough. In fact, I would go as far maybe as to say that it is normal When a player has this level of individual skills, he can take risks that others cannot afford, since there is always a chance that something will come out of it. So just to take a look at the 7 players last year who committed the most turnovers. So David Pasternak, Yevgeny Malkin, Leon Draisaitl, Artemi Panarin, Eric Carson, Nikita Kucherov, and Mitch Marner. And this wasn't an outlier data from last year. It is the same at every season. So always the top end player that commit the most turnover. This is something that in the past I used to judge more harshly. Perhaps too harshly even. So I have Logan Cooley in mind here, who I was a bit rough on him. And what makes me worry less about Demidov is that during his time in the KHL, and although the sample is rather thin, he managed to temper his eccentricity with the puck and sported a style of a much more mature style of play. What worries me the most about Demidov is that at the moment, he noticeably lacks physical strength. This carries over into 3 different aspects within his game. So first of all, this penalizes him in physical confrontations, so he have a hard time gaining the upper hands over his opponents along the board or in the corners. Secondly, this lack of strength is also observed in his shot. I briefly touched the subject earlier on, but Demidov's shot is not strong enough at the moment to threaten the goalkeepers. He kinda lack of finish a little bit, and this could significantly limit his ceiling in terms of point production at the next level. And finally, and most importantly to me, Demidov lacks what we would call a separation gear. So he is not a player who generates a lot of power with each skating try, so that means that he presents some difficulty getting away from his coverer by creating distance with his acceleration. So he's pretty much a one-speed player to me. So speed-wise, he's pretty much average to me, and his skating mechanics also need some refinement, since he skates while being 2 hunched over. So maybe those issues could be fixed with a little more time in the weight training room, but whenever a player has those issues is a late birthday, so playing the whole season as an 18 years old already, I'm a little bit more concerned by it. But so for those reasons, Demidov is not as of now a lock yet in my top 3, but we'll see how the rest of the season will unfold. So this is going to be it for Demidov's video. The next one is going to be probably on Cole Iserman. So for the rest of the video, I just have a boatload of clips. So instead of making you listen to Russian, I will leave you a little music. So I will put my favorite song from the Red Hot Chili Pepper, a live version. So I hope you enjoy. If not, we probably can't be friends anymore. So anyway, have a great week, all of you, and see you next time.
I'm a dance hall, dirty breakbeat, make the stuff all up from underneath your feet. Not alone, I'll be there. Tell me when you wanna go. I'm a meth lab, first rehab, take it all off and step inside the running cab. There's a light that knows the way. And I'm a rainbow in your jail cell, all the memory of everything you've ever smelled. Not alone, oh, when you wanna go. I'm an inbred and a pothead, two legs that you spread inside the tool shed. There's a love that knows the way. I can show you to the free field, overcoming all will always be revealed. Not alone, I'll be there. Oh, when you wanna go. I'm the blood stain on your shirt sleeve, coming down, more coming to believe. Now we know it all for sure.